Hi guys,
Hello.
welcome back to our next vlog. We are still wearing the same clothes as the other 2 weeks because we happen to be doing them all on the same day.
And the sun is moving, so
Yeah, so we're in and out. Today we are talking about female tribe.
Yeah.
Although now I'm sensitive using that word.
Oh yes, there's been mixed. What do you say? Feedback.
Well,
On using the word.
one person has mentioned to us that the usage of the word tribe can be offensive.
Yeah, to a certain Native American groups.
Yeah.
But if you look up the meaning of tribe, it really is about a group of people. No matter if where you're from or who you are, it can be your family.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a community of people.
And
so
everyone uses the word so much.
Yeah, so we really don't mean any offense to anybody. We are using it because we love that word. It's a great description of a group of people.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
but we can say our female gang.
Yes.
Hopefully, no offense to any gang members out there. So yeah, that's really important.
Definitely. I think I don't know where you want to start with this, but just something came to mind that I've over my last year after while I was pregnant with Rafi and afterwards, I actually got quite depressed, and it was very hormonal and circumstantial, but it led me to search for happiness. I saw this really interesting documentary. I think it's called Happiness, and it talked about different aspects of life and what makes people happy. So it was things like money.
Makes people happy.
So it made people happy up to a certain point.
I
so
see,
I
how
think there was a
interesting.
number, like if you're earning whatever, I can't remember what the number is, about 80,000 a year, it makes you happy because your basic needs are met. But then if it was anything above that, it doesn't contribute to a level of happiness. So the one on today's topic was about community, and that really resonated with me because I felt that that's what I lacked in the most, and it was a community with that was deep and
You
meaningful.
got isolated where you were.
Yeah. And of course I had my family, I have James, but I really lacked that female presence and friends and tribe, and sometimes it's hard because you were on the other side of the world. One of my best friends lives in Brazil. I was in London. A lot of my friends here in Australia. So that's why I feel like it was circumstantial. But when I did find, when we were all together, my energy just lifted, and especially having you around and working on this project.
We always
together.
talk about this. We just sent each other these love texts the other day, oh, my life is so much better with you in it. But it's true, you need your women, you need that gang of people who are like-minded and understand what you're going through. And my friends, especially my friends in situations similar to me, like my friends with children, are just so meaningful to me, because I feel like when Mark's working, or him and James will go to the gym together or whatever, we get together and we can just chat about our life and the chaos of raising 3 children and the peaks and valleys of life. And I think it's so important to band together, and there are specific things to females that I know my husband will never understand, and vice versa. I do not get and understand his men stuff. I don't understand it.
They are just different. It's really hit home raising a boy, and I feel like my 2 girls, for me, are easier. Leo's just there drawing on the floor. But it is one that I've had to do a little bit more conscious parenting about, because they are just wired differently. So for me, it's been understanding the psychology of boys to really help be a better parent. And I think that has also helped my relationship and understand James a lot better. So they're different. Whereas women, we just get each other.
Yeah.
We go through the same things, and even though we might feel isolated at the time. Like it's fine when you're pregnant, you feel like I'm the only person in the world going through this.
Yeah.
But it's not. We all do. And yeah. So I think it is important to come together and be open about it, because a lot of people do want to put up a shiny front that everything's okay. But it's okay to not be okay.
It is, yeah, and it's so beautiful to be vulnerable with your friends. And I know I have a different kind of connection with my girlfriends. Things that sometimes it's too complicated to discuss with my husband, and I just want to go vent with my friends. And it's so wonderful knowing that I have my girls there day in, day out, can pick up the phone, can talk about it, and they relate to me. And our husbands are really similar too, so we like basically married the same person. And so that's really nice as well. And for the two of them, James and Mark, they can get together and talk about what they're navigating, and then we get together and we're like, what happened when you were dealing with that situation, and vice versa. And that sort of support makes you feel like you're just in it together, and you're riding the waves of life alongside one another. And I really love it. And another thing that I know that you and I do in particular is we're pretty similar, and actually I think in the ways we're not similar, we really complement each other.
Yes.
I learn from you. I'm like, I gotta be more like that. Okay. But we talk about what our dreams are and our goals, and I know that with my girlfriends, they really hold me to those things. Like, all right, what are you actively doing to work towards your dreams? What steps are you taking to head in the direction that you desire? And Chrissy and I have such similar ideas for how our dream life looks that I feel like we almost hold each other responsible. We have to keep working towards it. We'll make plans together and for our family, and we just like breathe life into these ideas, and it's really inspiring.
And it is also rare. You know, I think a lot of the time, you know, when we're a bit younger, you know, I certainly used to judge myself on how many friends I had, but it really has been, you know, about less friends and more quality friends, and to find that person that you connect with is rare, and then it takes an investment, you know. It takes time to build, and takes investment of, as you say, being open and a bit more vulnerable to get a deeper connection with people. And but we're, you know, hopefully you're one of the lucky ones that does have some, you know, that best friend that you can just rely on or more. And if you haven't found that yet, you can, moving into the shade. There are people like you out there, you know, we just attract like attracts like.
Yeah, and I think something that you said about having less friends but more quality friends, I think that when I was in my mid-20s, I went through a period where I really found some clarity in terms of the sorts of people I wanted to surround myself with. And energy is such an important thing, and for me, I had to weed out the toxic friendships that weren't serving me, and I wasn't serving them. In fact, I was probably enabling them in some ways, and it's a challenging thing to do, but you can love someone at arm's length, and you can let go of friendships that aren't serving you, that make you feel bad about yourself, that triggers trauma in you. I certainly know I've had some unhealthy friendships in the past, and you would leave those hangouts feeling less than. I wouldn't feel good about myself. I wouldn't feel happy or inspired. I'd feel drained. And I think now that I'm older and I'm so time poor, I'm realizing that I have to be really precious with where I'm spending my energy. And if it's not with my children and my husband, it's going to be with my beautiful friends who I have deep, meaningful, loving connections with. And I just don't have the space in my life for anything outside of that.
Yeah. And not one person ticks all the boxes as everything for you know, I've recently had this conversation with James, and you know, I think he was looking at me like
looking to you.
Thank you. Looking to me to be everything, but you know, I just can't be. I can't be, you know, a bloke and a mate.
James and Mark should be together.
Yes.
They tick all the boxes.
But I think like I get a dose of something from one friendship or one person and then something else from another person. So not to put expectation on one person for everything.
That is actually such an amazing point. Yeah, and then I know I can do that too. I can look at all my friends and be like, oh, that's the kind of experience I have there, and that's how I feel after I see her, and this is what we have in common, and you know, we like to conscious parent, and we like, you know, all those things, and it is wonderful. That's such a good point.
And to your point about toxic friendships, I went through an interesting experience when I was younger when I stopped drinking alcohol. You know, I stopped for about 8 years, and started again after the bed child.
Now.
No. You know, I have broken once or twice.
Thanks, Pippa Wanganeen out there.
No, but when I did stop drinking, I actually lost a lot of friends, pretty much. You know, all my friends. My group at that time. Yeah, absolutely. Because everything was about, you know, I was in London at the time and it was like, oh, it's raining, let's go to the pub. Or it's sunny, let's go to the pub. Or any occasion, let's go to the pub. And I just wasn't into going to the pub. You know, I started on a bit of a health journey. So, you know, I wanted to go to the gym and meet friends at the gym and have a green juice, which
I must have thought you were so boring.
So boring at the time. You know, that was 10 years ago.
Lame-o Chrissy's at the gym again.
But now, luckily, going to the gym and having green juices is more acceptable.
Oh my God. I've been eyeing my green juice in the background, like I really need to get it.
But yeah, that was a big shift for me, and sad in a lot of ways, but of course ended up in a really positive way, and I just found like-minded people. And that's what it's about, just finding like-minded people, and that can change.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it changed
okay.
having kids for me as well, because I was one of the first in my group to have children. And then I actually, with my first, I still kind of went to everything. I just put him in a carrier and I kept going to everything. But I found after I had my second child, then you're navigating the bedtimes and you've got two and you're juggling, and I found that I was gravitating towards spending time with other friends with kids, and we would, our hangouts would sort of finish by about 6 p.m. because we knew that each family had to go home and like cook dinner and do bedtime, and so the dynamic just shifts. It's just different, and
it's not good or bad. It's
just different. Yeah, it just changes slightly. And I have friends who don't have children who actually are really cool to come over to my house and hang out while I'm doing bedtime. And, you know, a couple of our best friends, Kath and Stu, they don't have kids, but they'll always come over and help us put the kids to bed, and then we'll watch a movie after the kids are in bed. And so you can still maintain those friendships, but it just looks a little different. It's got a different colour to it, and that's okay. All right, we're out of time. All right, guys, lots of love. I'm gonna say we'll see you next week, but actually we're just about to film the next one right now, so you will see us next week. All right, bye.